Gently close your eyes. Do deep breathing. We'll chant Om once together. Synchronize the chanting of Om with your exhalation. Breathe in. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma Vitvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Gently open your eyes. We'll chant from verses 16 to 20 of chapter 3. Evam pravartitam chakram.
Evam pravartitam chakram.
Nanuvartayati hayah.
Nanuvartayati hayah.
Aghayurindriya ramah.
Aghayurindriya ramah.
Mogham partha sajivati.
Mogham partha sajivati.
Yastvat maratireva syad.
Yastvat maratireva syad.
Atmatriptascha manavah.
Atmatriptascha manavah.
Atmanyeva cha santushtah.
Atmanyeva cha santushtah.
Tasya karyam na vidyate.
Tasya karyam na vidyate.
Naiva tasya krite narthah.
Naiva tasya krite narthah.
Na krite neha kaschana.
Na krite neha kaschana.
Na chasya sarva bhuteshu.
Na chasya sarva bhuteshu.
Kaschidarthavyapashrayah.
Kaschidarthavyapashrayah.
Tasmadasaktah satatam.
Tasmadasaktah satatam.
Karyam karma samachara.
Karyam karma samachara.
Asakto hyacharan karma.
Asakto hyacharan karma.
Paramapnoti Purushaha
Paramapnoti Purushaha
Karmanaiva hi samsiddhim
Karmanaiva hi samsiddhim
Asthita janakadayah
Astita janakadayaha
Lokasangrahamevapi
Lokasangrahamevapi
Sampashyan kartumarhasi
Sampashyan kartumarhasi.
Hari Om, and a very good day to all of you. So we are into verse number 18 of chapter 3, wherein he is explaining further about the internal state of a person who has merged with the infinite with respect to the actions, that is the external actions, and the various other aspects of the world like objects, beings. He's taken two examples. So what is his internal state when he is functioning in the world, when he is when he is contacting the world, that is with respect to relationships, beings, with respect to various other objects. So all that he is explaining here, which is a continuation of the previous verse only. Now, the biggest challenge here when he is trying to explain all this is the difference in the dimension. As I told you in the last session or prior to that, there are different dimensions. So here we are in the third dimension. Now this person's consciousness has moved on to the infinite dimension. So what we experience in the third dimension is something totally different from what is there in the infinite dimension. So how is it possible for anyone who is at that level to communicate? Extremely difficult, rather impossible. So they can only indicate. So you have your present experiences. So they start from there and go on extending it up to a point, and then they leave it there for you to keep reflecting. And as you do your sadhana, you will start discovering the truth from within. This is the only way it can be done. If you expect an intellectual answer, yes or no, like supposing you ask a question, what is your name? Now the other person gives you his or her name. Now this is a straightforward answer. A problem is there, there is a solution. It's very straightforward. Now you're so used to that kind of an approach that you expect an immediate answer. Who is God? You want someone to come and tell you, God is this. Why did God create the world? Immediately you want an intellectual answer. Why is there so much suffering? For every question there is an answer. It's not that there is no answer, but it is not a simple answer like what is the name, immediately the name can be given. It's not like that. If it's pertaining to the world, you will have to understand the higher laws which are governing the world, like law of karma. Only then you can understand why suffering happens, what gives happiness, what gives suffering, what gives success, what gives failure. All these things can be understood from a deeper perspective when you learn the higher laws of life. And then when you ask questions about that which is beyond life, about the higher dimensions, right up to the infinite dimension, then a straightforward answer cannot be given. A straightforward answer will not help you also. Maximum you will do is either believe it or not believe it. That is what has happened today. When a person asks who created this world, now one person comes and says God created this world. Immediately the world divides itself into two. Either you believe it, people who believe that statement, or people who don't believe that statement. So some people say God only created the world. Now who is God? Have you experienced? No, it's just a belief. Another group of people, they say we don't believe this. That is also the other side of belief only. When you say I believe in God, which you see the belief and non-belief, that is what in in the Vedic language we called as astikam, nastikam. Astikam means faith. Nastikam means no faith. Or it could be on anything. Here in this context we are talking about God, the supreme power. But if you truly want to be spiritual, it's not enough if you merely believe or if you don't believe. A belief is something which you develop because you are unable to experience it directly. If at all you believe in something, that should be to give you that confidence to keep progressing in the path. Today what has happened is, when a person concludes that, yes, there is God, I believe in God. Now thereafter they stop all sadhana. There is a long gap between what you are experiencing and what the infinite is. Unless you do sadhana and bridge that gap, you cannot gain that ultimate experience. So sitting where you are, if you believe or not believe, it means you are committing in one of the directions and then you are stopping the sadhana. So if you take the Shastras, say the Puranas for example, they have given both these examples. Those who believed in God, who were great believers, they also attained moksha. Those who disbelieved in God, they also attained moksha. Who hated God, the opposite, Now, how can it be? It's because your belief or disbelief actually means nothing. It is the sadhana which you do that matters. So when it comes to verses like these, if you have a natural belief that can support you, it's wonderful. But let's say you don't have a belief, you just want to explore. That is also fine. But if you take a stance that all this is false, and then if you read it, then you will not be able to receive anything. So as a sadhak, the best thing would be to just not form any opinions this way or that way. Don't conclude anything, but just explore the verse, which is what we are doing in the yogic approach. If you just follow the structure of the Sunday session, you will explore these truths along with the master. In that process, when you have that exploratory nature, now being where you are not limiting yourself to any belief. You are not coloring yourself. See, before you experience something, how do you know whether that is true or not? That's why when when two faction, they went to Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, who was a great saint, and asked him, who is superior, Shiva or Vishnu? He gave a very interesting answer. He said, I don't know, because I have neither experienced Shiva nor Vishnu, he said. It's not that he had not experienced. He had advanced to a very high level. But he made that statement deliberately to make those people think, because they were fighting. One faction was saying Shiva is superior, another person Vishnu is superior. Not based on their experience, just based on their beliefs. So all the religious wars, the kinds of quarrels, they are all happening because one becomes fanatic about one's own beliefs. So if you really want to benefit from these verses, you should drop your fanaticism, your beliefs and non-beliefs also. Don't take a stance. Be in the center, neutral position, and explore. It is only when you are in the neutral position you will be able to explore something. If you are already colored, you cannot do that research. So when he is making such statements like there is no motive to act or not act here, he is talking from experience. So you should neither accept it blindly nor should you reject it blindly. Most people think accepting the scriptures blindly is spirituality. No. If you accept the scriptures blindly, you will only become a fanatic. If you reject the scriptures blindly, now that is also not a spirituality. It is only when you explore, when you maintain the state of exploration, and when you study the scriptures, that you can truly become spiritual. Even when people come for the Yoga Sankirtan empowerment programs, I always say, supposing you're new, you've come for the first time. Now, you don't need to believe in the Yoga Sankirtan sadhana. When I say you don't need to believe, that doesn't mean now you are on the other side. I don't believe. No, that is also not a conducive state. If you're just neutral, willing to experiment, willing to explore, you will gain the higher experiences. And those higher experiences which you gain will build that faith in you for further higher experiences. After a while, you will come to a state where you will be able to clearly see, yes, I have experienced so many things, but here something is being said which I am not able to understand today, but based on my past experiences, I am willing to explore further with faith. So that kind of faith, this is what is called Shraddha in Sanskritam language. That kind of faith is built on solid logic, solid emotions, and personal experience. So generally, people know only these two extremes. Either they will believe in something or they will not believe. Rarely you find a person who is in the center willing to explore. See, you can see this happening even with respect to worldly news. Supposing you get some information in your social media, let's say WhatsApp or some other thing which you're using. Just because someone has sent you that doesn't mean that is true. It could be on politics, it could be on health also. Nowadays everybody has become a doctor, self-made doctors. It could be on spirituality, it could be on anything. But the moment you read it, I want you to observe your own mind. As a sadhak, if you learn to observe your mind, you will actually learn the higher principles very fast. What happens is, when you read something, you either get influenced by it this way or that way. Either you believe it or you reject it. Rarely do I find a person who explores and finds out. That is why fake news spreads very fast. Why? Because people just believe things which they read. People just, if you just open the TV, you see a news channel, something is shown. That doesn't mean you should immediately react to it. We'll have to wait and watch. Supposing there's a lot of misinformation. So today, especially when the AI is advancing so much, there are many people who just simply use some AI software and they just ask some question. Whatever answer it gives, they immediately go by that. That is very wrong. You should be neutral enough, scientific. See, this is what is called as the true scientific approach. Being neutral and exploring, not getting conditioned. Even those people who claim to be scientific, what I'm finding is they are just having a belief in science. The moment you say something and say this is scientific, if you use that word scientific, they immediately say, oh, very good, very good. They accept. Belief in science is not being scientific. Truly being scientific is building this sense of exploration. So in that sense, true spirituality is very scientific. The approach. The field of inquiry is different. In the external science, the field of inquiry is the world. In the ancient science, the field of inquiry is the consciousness going within and exploring the inner world. But the approach is what we are talking about here. Especially in this verse number 18, and also the previous verse number 17. This exploratory attitude or approach will help you tremendously. And incidentally, if you really go to the depth of this verse, he's talking of that state of neutrality only. How is a master functioning? What is his inner state? It is a state of neutrality, even when it comes to action. So even before you understand these things in a deep way, if you approach it in a spirit of neutrality, it will support your understanding. It will make things so conducive for you to feel, to understand all these things in a deep way. Today, spirituality has got lost because people have dropped off this inquisitive nature, the spirit of inquiry. When you don't believe, you're called an atheist and then you stop. No, there is no question of any sadhana. If you believe also, you stop off all sadhana. You think, now I know the truth. You've only developed a belief in God. You have not experienced God. There is a very big difference. So when we are reading all this, just don't learn this and immediately go and repeat it to everyone. It will not work that way. These verses are meant for you to, slowly expand your consciousness and, move towards that infinite dimensional experience. So what is he saying here? For him means that person, that great yogi, there is no motive to act or to not act here. Iha. So in the last session, I was telling you, iha is a very important word there. If you want to become a yogi, you need to practice that principle. Iha means here and now. Iha means this world, your present time, the present context. So you should train your mind to be in the present always. Now you may ask me, sir, what is the big thing? We are always living in the present only, no? Some people say that, when it is said in the scriptures that you should be in the present, they say, what's the big deal? We are anyway living in the present only. That is true. But the point is, where is your mind? Is it caught up in the past or the future, or is it fully available in the present? That is what these great yogis are referring to. So first of all, why did I say this world? See, the moment we get into spirituality, we are always talking about the other world, heaven or hell, or something beyond whatever you're experiencing. So there is a small inherent potential problem there. The mind can get so enamored by that it can lose sight of the present life. Present life means whatever you're experiencing. So we ask the fundamental questions like, from where were we born? What will happen to us after we die? Is there a God beyond this world? Why did God create the world? Did God create the world? If so, why? So many questions like this we ask. Who was my father's 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 first father? Who was my mother's 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 first mother? What is the very origin of this world? What is the end point? What is beyond all this? These are the questions we constantly ask. And spirituality aims to answer all that, not necessarily intellectually, but it aims to give a solution. But in this process, what can happen to the mind is that it can get so caught up with all these unknown things that it can lose focus of the present experience which is happening in your life. You see, anybody who's studying the scriptures, who claims that they are spiritual, generally they talk about all unknown things. They always say, do good because you have to acquire punya, then only you can go to heaven. If you do something wrong, then you will go to hell. They always bring in unknown terminologies, things which cannot be verified right now. I'm not saying studying all that is wrong. That is also a part of the scriptures only. But the mind tends to get so enamored by all these that it loses complete focus on the present experience. And what these great yogis are saying is one of the main things, main sadhana is to keep your mind in the present. So, some people they say, I am so devoted to God and I have so much of love for God, but they are very rude to their own family members. They are very rude to people around them. They are claiming that they are loving God, some unknown God, but they are so rude to people with whom they are interacting. So there is this issue because the mind has the weakness to not focus on the known. It always wants to dabble with something unknown. So you should never mix the knowledge which you gain of the unknown things with your present experience. You should always keep your mind in the present. This is a sadhana which you have to practice. Yes, learn about heaven, learn about hell, all those things anyway we are seeing. But when you act, where should your focus be? On that present activity, this present world. Learn about all the worlds. In our scriptures, they have explained about so many dimensions. They have divided all the dimensions into 14 dimensions, 14 lokas. Starting from the lowest dimension to the highest, which is infinite. It's not that they have not dealt with all that. But when it comes to action, they say, be here, iha. So the first thing is, iha means this world, the world which you are experiencing. You need to focus on that. And even within this world, you have your own world. That is where your full focus should be on. See, if you see, you're always concerned about what's happening in some other part of the world. Do you know that person did this? You have no connection with that. Your life is something else. But we spend a lot of time and energy in focusing upon and talking about various things which are unconnected to us. When I say us means what our life is. If you think about it, what your neighbor does, how is it affecting your life? No, but you will be gossiping about the neighbor all the time. I'm only giving you an example. So, all this actually fritters away your mental energy. So, you need to learn to conserve the energy of your mind. So, you're watching the news channel, you're watching what is happening. You're so caught up with all that that you forget to watch what's happening within yourself, what's happening to your mind. How are you reacting? Am I reacting in a negative way? Am I getting overexcited? All these things you are not aware of. Why is that? Because all your energies are focused on we can say non-iha. Iha means here, non-iha means opposite of that. So from a wide range, he is asking you to narrow down. That is the sadhana. So first thing, iha means this world. Now in this world, your world, whatever roles you're playing, it could be your family, it could be your office. Are you practicing these principles within your family first? When we say unconditional love, are you practicing that with respect to your spouse, with respect to your children? When we say detachment, are you practicing that with respect to your children? Find out. No point in talking about, high things and what, especially when we read all the Puranas and all that. Naturally, there's a lot of attraction. Yes, because it's so beautifully put. But then you will start talking about what Indra did. In the previous verse we saw, no, Ratihi, the story also I had given you. So you will only be talking about that. What about your present life? So that word iha actually helps you to ground yourself. As you are raising your consciousness to higher and higher dimensions, you should learn to remain grounded. Where? In the present. He is using a beautiful word iha to represent the entire possibilities of the present. So with respect to time also, what is your present moment? What are you doing with it? What did I do yesterday? No, you're worrying about that. What will happen tomorrow? Again, so much of anxiety. Instead of all that, learn to keep clipping off that. What am I to do right now? If you do it properly, you are ensuring that tomorrow will also be of good quality. By constantly worrying about the past and being anxious about the future, you are not allowing your energies to fully settle in the present moment. So right now, what am I to do? So the world, my world, how is it, what is happening in my world? Am I being kind to my people around me? Am I being rude? Am I being judgmental? What are the things which are happening? See, there are many people who talk of social service, this, that, and all. They neglect their duties in the family. See, society first starts with your family only, right? You, then your family, then other family. That's how it goes. Then, with respect to time, the present moment. What about today? What about right now? Even right now, learn to, clip off the past and the future. Just simply absorb what is being given right now. Even for a moment when you practice that, you will see that liberates you. It takes off the burden from your head. So when he says there is no motive to act or not act here, that is, when I say that's a complete state of neutrality, that gives so much of freedom, because that person is totally present here in this world, this moment. He is now free to choose his course of action. What a wonderful state of freedom it is. Are you a free person today? Your mind is not allowing you to be free. When you go and hit the pillow in the night, your mind is running here and there, here and there. Something may have happened that day, something may have happened several months back. all that will come and crowd your mind. As soon as you wake up in the morning, how fresh are you? Mentally. I'm not talking of merely the physical part. Incidentally, the stress of the mind has to do, it does affect the physical body also. When you go to office, when you're working, so many thoughts crowd your mind. First, become aware of that. That is the first step. Then, as you're doing your sadhana, you will slowly learn to just relax in the present moment. If the thoughts are overcrowding you, you will learn to say, okay, all that is fine, let me focus here. And the mind will start listening to you, not on day one itself. This is a sadhana, lifetime practice which is being given to you. Don't just practice it for one day and immediately you send a mail. Sir, mind is not at all in the present, sir. If it's already in the present, why do we need all these Sunday sessions, yoga sankirtan? All this is not required, no. So, number one, with respect to the world. Number two, with respect to time. I'll give you one more application of the word here. The present context. It's similar to present moment only, but it helps you to understand things in a better perspective. That's why I'm bringing in that principle also. In any situation, you should learn to see what the present context is. Because according to the context, the application of the principle will change. For example, when you are a child, a certain set of rules are given to you for safety. Don't go and play in this area because it's unsafe. But as you grow, the rules change. You can go and play there, no problem. It's not that the principle has changed. The principle of safety still remains the same, but the application changes. Supposing you've just learned car driving, they say, first practice that on the road where there is less traffic. As you become an expert, and now you can go more in traffic. The application keeps changing. So same thing with respect to spiritual practices also. Many people ask me, sir, why don't you give us the highest empowerment straight away? Highest empowerment, if it's given straight away, how much can you absorb? See, innocently you're asking. You don't even know what you're asking. See, even in the Yoga Sankirtan materials, if the raw energy is given to you, you will not be able to handle it. It's like a 10,000 volt electricity hitting you. So that has been, managed. A lot of minimum, maximum limits have been put. It's not in the raw form. We work on that so that it is brought to a level which you can easily relate to. So the experience is pleasant. But if you do your sadhana properly and if you advance to that level, then the master may give you the raw energy in its pure form because you can handle it. It all depends on the context only. A master is always neutral. According to the context, he will act. Even how much food you should eat, how much water you should drink, it depends on the context. If it's very hot outside and you had a lot of activity, you sweated so much, naturally you need to drink more water, probably double or triple the quantity which you normally have. So the proportion will vary according to the context. How much food should you eat? Depends on how much calories are you burning. What food should you eat? Again, it depends upon the internal condition. There is no standard practices for everybody. See, the Yoga Sankirtan is best when done early in the morning. If you choose that, it's wonderful. You will get maximum benefits. Now, let us say a night watchman, he wants to do Yoga Sankirtan sadhana. Now, the nature of his job is he has to be awake throughout the night. So, by 3 o'clock only, he'll go back home, 3 or 4 or whatever. As soon as he goes home, if he sits and without a proper sleep, if he does a sadhana, he'll not do sadhana, he'll only fall off to sleep. So, if such a person asks me, I would say, okay, the best thing is not possible, but we'll choose the next best. Whenever you wake up, you do the sadhana. And then if you are able to change your job, that is the best. Instead of night watchman, become a day watchman. Then there is no issue. I am only giving an example. So the context is so important when you take any decision and when you act. That's why Iha is so important. Iha means that person is totally in the present world, that is his present experiences, number one, in the present moment without worrying about the past or the future, and also acts according to the present context. Like in the Bhagavad Gita, he says, come on, fight. He's talking to Arjuna, who's a warrior. So you can't say, Krishna himself says fight. So let me go and pick up a quarrel with everybody. Why? Because I'm practicing Bhagavad Gita. So you have to understand the principle. In that context, he is saying fight. But what is the principle? It means act, do your duty. So what is my duty? I am a computer engineer, let us say. Now, fight has to be interpreted properly as do my activity properly. So, number one, the world, that is experiences, the present experiences. Number two, the present time. And number three, the present context. All these three are packed in this one word, Iha. So, if you start absorbing these principles and practicing them in your life, you will find that you will start growing spiritually very fast. One sadhak has asked a question about being in the present moment. Now, what he has asked is that when we say be in the present moment, does it mean now I have to forget my past and future completely? And if at all, how will I function? And then the next question which he has asked is, on one hand we are saying be in the present moment. On the other hand, we are saying fix goals also. Goals are always with respect to the future, right? So isn't that contradictory? I'll explain that also and then we'll go further. See, when the yogis say be in the present moment, they are not saying forget your past and future. If you forget your past and future, that is called amnesia. That's a psychological disease. Just imagine, this moment, suddenly you forget everything before this moment. What will you do now? There will be no direction at all. They are only saying, clip off the worries of the past or the anxieties of the future. They are not saying, now come on, remove the past and future from your life. Then you will cease to exist. A yogi does not worry about the past or is not anxious about the future. A yogi also thinks of the past, he thinks of the future. But it is a conscious decision. He does it in the present moment only. Right now, let me now analyze what happened yesterday so that I can improve the quality of my action today. It's called learning from past mistakes. This is a conscious effort where the intellect is governing the mind very, very clearly, not allowing the mind to go on its own. Similarly, what is the future? That is, let me plan for the future. This is my goal. This is consciously done by the mind under the supervision of the intellect, buddhi. This should be differentiated from just simply allowing the mind to go to the past and future on its own and getting into worries and anxieties. This is a very practical question which the sadhak has asked. So, what is being said when we talk about iha? What is the sadhana principle? Whether you're thinking about the past or future or whether you're analyzing the present, all these things do not matter. Bring everything in the present. Present experience, there is a present world, present moment, present context. Even if you're, let us say, studying about heaven, see what is the relevance now to your present experience. Will that help me here? Which is what we do in the yogic approach. If you notice, even when we're talking about the infinite dimension, I bring it down to your sadhana level. Why? This is a yogic practice. So if you want to think about the past for some reason, you want to learn something, nothing wrong with it. Keep it as your present activity and then do it consciously. Then you're practicing iha. If you want to plan for the future, do it as a present activity consciously. And once you've planned, you've gotten into action, now don't think of the past or future. Just focus on the action because that's going to lead you to your goal. The very word iha itself actually is a summary of the entire karma yoga, if you think about it. See, every word, every principle is so effective, so deep. So, this is the answer to that question which the sadhak has asked. Not forgetting the past or the future, but it is not allowing the past and future to come and disturb your peace of mind in the present. Even these Sunday sessions, if I completely forget what I've done in the last Sunday, now how will I continue verse number 18? Supposing suddenly I come now and first of all, how will I continue the Bhagavad Gita if I don't remember anything, let us say. I just come here. What should I talk? Okay, today let me talk on sports, about sports. Next week I'll come. I will not even remember what I've spoken last week. Nothing I'll remember. No continuity, nothing. Let me just talk about politics today. So life will become very sporadic. If you clip off your past and future completely from your life, it will become very sporadic. Whereas the technique which they are suggesting is not to clip off the past and future, not allowing the memories of the past and the thoughts of the future to come and disturb your peace of mind in the present. Then this will not make your life sporadic. There will be a continuity, but you will become very spontaneous in life. You will start acting moment by moment. experience by experience. It's a beautiful sadhana. The very secret of understanding this verse lies in the word iha. If you can go into the depth of iha and absorb that energy, it will be very easy to understand the rest. So take it up as a homework for your life. Whenever you find your mind getting disturbed, just see. It will be in the past or the future and getting worked up now. You just gently pull your mind back. Don't use force. Talk very gently to your mind. Okay, all that is fine. Now let me focus here. Let me enjoy. You will not be able to do it beyond your capacity. If you find that your mind is refusing to listen in spite of your best efforts, then you should release those factors when you do your daily Yoga Sankirtan sadhana. That's why the Yoga Sankirtan materials have been provided to you. And when you attend the empowerment programs, this capacity to be in the present will start increasing more and more. It sounds so simple, but it is one of the most profound, deep sadhana which is being suggested to you. The yogic sadhana of iha, being in the present world, present experiences, present moment, present context. Always see what is the context. You can't have a standard application, standard instructions or standard application for one principle. That will keep on varying. So, do I need to sleep, take more rest? It depends on what your condition is. If you are very tired, you may need to take more rest. If you are lazy, means I would say don't take rest, put more effort. According to the context, the master will keep on changing the application. One day he may say, come on, you should act more, go into the world, function. Suddenly, one day he may say, why are you running so much? Learn to sit quietly for a while. If he finds the student going into any of the extremes, he may emphasize on the opposite. The context is the key. Krishna is talking to Arjuna, who is a warrior. In this context, he is emphasizing on karma. Same Krishna, when he spoke to Uddhava, his emphasis was different. When he spoke to the gopis, he emphasized on unconditional love. Which is the truth? Everything is the truth only, provided you understand the context. So, it's a very good question the sadhak has asked. Apart from this, anyway, being in the present is such a profound principle that it will keep coming every now and then. Especially when we're doing karma yoga, this principle will keep repeating itself again and again. So, as and when those verses come, in that context, I'll give you some more dimensions of being in the present. So, your understanding will deepen. As of now, this is more than enough for you to start practicing this sadhana. So, iha, here, for him, there is no motive to act or to not act here. It is only if you are in the present, you will be able to practice this. And if you practice this, you will automatically settle in the present. These two factors go hand in hand. In the first part, he is talking about the state of neutrality. And then he uses the word iha, being in the present. Both go hand in hand. They support each other. They complement each other. So, the word which he is using is artha. Artha first means no motive. So a yogi, he does not have a predefined motive to either quote action or to avoid action. He is in a state of neutrality. So whether he should act or whether he should not act depends on the situation. Generally, you have a predefined motive which colors your mind. So he is talking about the neutral state where there is no coloring. It is only when you have no coloring that you can take an effective decision. So number one, artha means motive. We'll see some more dimensions also. They are all interrelated. But each dimension will help you understand it from a slightly different angle. The second dimension of artha. Artha means reason. You always have a reason for doing anything. We ourselves say you should not act mechanically. You should have a purpose. We say that, no? But here he is not talking about that. See, this is a little, this may confuse you a bit. He is talking about the highest state. See, whenever you act, what is the reason for you to act? You may say, I want to accomplish this. What for do you want to accomplish this? What is the reason for seeking that accomplishment? You will finally end up with happiness only. So, in effect, every time you act or you don't want to act, it is because you have a reason, and that reason is, I want to become happy. Now, this person is already happy. Since he is already happy, the real reason for happiness is not there for him. The real reason for action, which is happiness, is not there for him. It's already there. So today you are acting to achieve something in life. And why do you want to achieve that? To achieve something else. Finally, it goes back to happiness. This person has reached that end point. He is already experiencing happiness. So, any reason for action cannot come from within. It is just situational only. So, as far as, if we will take the example of Krishna. Now, Krishna is playing a major role in this world war, the Mahabharata war. He is the person behind the whole thing. He is the person who is laying down the strategy for the Pandavas. Now, he has invested his time, effort. See, when giving the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, he is the charioteer of Arjuna, took up that role. He is giving the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. He is investing so much of time and effort. Why? Because he sees a potential in Arjuna. He knows that one Arjuna is enough to win that war and establish righteousness. But let us say, after listening to the entire Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna says, no Krishna, I am not convinced. I will not fight this war. Do you think Krishna will become unhappy? No. He is already in a state of happiness. Now, then what for is he giving the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna? The situation demands that. In that present context, external situation, what is the best thing? Who is the best person who can win the war? Arjuna. Now, he is going through a difficult time. So, give these higher principles to him. So, in that sense, there is an external reason, but he doesn't have an inner reason leading to happiness. See, this is what you need to understand. When he says, na eva tasya kritena artha, na artha, no artha. First we saw no motive. Similarly, no reason which leads to happiness ultimately. But there would be a reason externally. Situational reason will be there. So, you should differentiate between these two. The internal reasons always lead to happiness only. Why is it that you want to do anything in life? Internally. Go back, go back, go back. Go to the roots. It will be because you're seeking happiness. Why is it that you don't want to do something? You want to avoid something because that is causing pain. You feel that's taking you away from happiness. So that internal reason is not applicable for a yogi because he is already in a state of happiness. But his actions are governed by the external reasons. So if you truly want to understand the deeper meaning of artha, you differentiate between internal artha and external artha, situational artha. So all the things which a yogi does will be situational. Supposing Arjuna walks out of the war, as far as Krishna is concerned, he will now say, okay, strategy 1 hasn't worked, let me get on to strategy 2. He will find somebody else. If nobody is there, he himself will get on with action. This is how a master functions. That's why it is said, when you serve your guru, never think that, oh, I am serving, I am indispensable, without me, what will happen to him? There's nothing like that. See, when we serve the higher master, we always should have that spirit of humility. With or without the student's contribution, the master's journey will continue, whatever the purposes that will unfold. Rather, when a student gets an opportunity to serve the higher cause which the master is working for, he should take it as a blessing, he or she. Oh, I am blessed with this opportunity to be a spoke in this wheel, to make some contribution. Not that without me nothing will happen. Without Arjuna also, Krishna would have continued. The situation demanded resurrection of righteousness. That he would have fulfilled anyway. So one is the external artha and the other is the internal artha. So internally, he has no artha. First of all, motive. We saw that in detail. Second is reason. Anything, any internal reason will always lead to happiness only ultimately. So that part of it is not applicable to a yogi because he is already happy. And everything which he does in a very happy way. Then, the third dimension of artha. Artha means cause. That which causes an effect to happen. Now, normally when you act, that is subject to the circle or the cycle of cause and effect. There is no doubt about it. But what he's saying is, a yogi is not caught up in that cycle called karma chakra, the cause and effect cycle. He is above the cause and effect cycle when he is acting. This is the freedom. See, in the previous verse I told you, happiness, independence, freedom, all those things were explained to you. Now, every bit of that will help you to understand this verse. That's why one verse leads to the other. Every principle which is being explained to you helps you to understand further principles in depth. When you are caught up in the cause and effect cycle, now you will be bound. Everything which is happening, that is the outcome of that action, will affect your mind. You will become more stressed if the outcome is negative, or you will become so excited if the outcome is positive. But a yogi, he is not a part of that cause and effect cycle as he is acting. His consciousness has been liberated. So, if the action fetches good results, good effects, now he is fine. If the action fetches bad results in spite of the best efforts, he is again okay with that. He'll see what is the next best alternative. He'll always look for solutions because his mind is stable. So, there is no artha to act or not act, means there is no cause. In the sense, he is not caught up by the cause. The moment we talk of cause, it means effect. Cause and effect go together. So, he is not affected by the effect of action or non-action. Today, if you observe, your mind is totally affected by the effect of your actions, and we can say action and non-action, we can club it together and call it action also, to make it simple. Anything which you do, that produces an effect, and you are so affected by that effect. But a yogi is free of that. His mind is very stable. So when he acts, it is because that is the best thing to do. Sometimes when he says, no need to act, let us avoid this, that is because that is the best thing to do there. His mind is always stable. Inherently, that cause, that action will have a cause and effect, but he is above that. So, this is so beautifully demonstrated in Lord Krishna's life. When Jarasandha, who was a very powerful warrior, when he invaded Mathura 17 times, they were able to, successfully stop that invasion. But after that, at one point, Krishna suggested that let's relocate to a new place, to the city of Dwaraka. Balrama and others were very angry with that suggestion. They said, why should we relocate? Let's go and finish off Jarasandha once for all. Krishna said, there's no point. Time hasn't come for that. The best thing is to relocate. Now, what everyone asked was, what will people think of us? Won't they think we are cowards, running away out of fear? Krishna just smiled and said, let them think. We know we are not cowards. Strategically, at that point of time, in that context, that is the best thing to do. Right now, Jarasandha is invincible. So we'll wait for the right time. We don't even require a war. Actually, in a single combat with Bhima, he defeated Jarasandha much later, without having to, go through all the big wars and all that. He said, strategically, this is the best thing to do. Let us just do that. So he was above the cause and effect. What will happen if people laugh at me? Let them laugh. It is because of their ignorance. This is the right thing to do here. So every master exhibits this beautiful quality. Whenever a master acts, he is not bound by the effect or the consequence of that action internally. That is the cause which is going to give an effect or a consequence will not affect the stability of the master's mind. He will continue to be stable. That is so beautifully indicated here, Na artha. So, number one, no motive. Number two, no reason. Number three, beyond the cause and effect cycle. The best way to understand this is to see the opposite of it. Today, how your mind is losing its stability whenever you get into action or when you avoid action. Because when you do something also, there will be a consequence. The cause will have an effect. When you don't do something also, that cause will have an effect. And that effect is constantly making you lose your stability. If it is a good effect, you're jumping with joy, so excited. When it is a negative effect, you get into depression. Both ways, your mind is constantly in a state of turbulence. A yogi's mind is constant, peaceful. I want you to absorb the energy of this, because the more you absorb this energy and start admiring, your mind also will become very peaceful and constant. And such a mind can be easily directed towards the higher. Devotion towards the higher is so simple for a yogi. So we'll stop with that here. In the next session, I'll give you a few more dimensions of Artha, and then we will go on to the remaining part of this verse. It is not about covering all this in detail, but it is about you absorbing that energy and putting them to practice in your life. That is the most important thing. Okay? So now we'll do Nididhyasana meditation. Gently close your eyes. Do deep breathing. With every breath, I am becoming more and more relaxed. Feel the divine vibrations. Oh.
With every breath, I am going deeper and deeper into myself. Beyond my body, beyond my mind, beyond my intellect lies that supreme, infinite self, that infinite self is in a state of 100% neutrality. I am Swayam Prakashit, self-illuminating. Offer your gratitude to God Supreme. Offer your gratitude to your Guru and all the holy masters.
wriggle your fingers, your toes, open and close your palms a few times. Rub your palms together to create a warmth. And cup your eyes with your palms. Gently rub your eyes, your cheeks, forehead, the top of your head, the back of your head, your neck, and slowly open your eyes. Welcome back. We had a very inspiring session today. These principles are so inspiring because they are coming from no less a person than the great avatar, Lord Krishna. These are the principles, the higher principles which govern your life. So you need to learn them. And when you sadhaks keep asking questions, that is a further opportunity to go into depth, because I answer all those questions, giving them so much of importance, because it helps you to absorb these principles better. Sometimes I read the question and give the answers. Sometimes straight away the answers are given. Sometimes the answers are given even before you ask. So ultimately what matters is your level of inspiration and your level of absorption and practice. Those are the key factors. Okay, so we'll continue next week. Thank you very much. Hari Om.